Two great places to be.
Right.
You were at Mellencamp, right, the other night? Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
It was
Oh,
great.
beautiful.
It was great.
Excellent show.
I went to Jovi's
And I did.
show. When was it?
Oh, you
Last
did?
last
Which one?
week?
Oh, yeah.
Last week, 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
Yeah, he's had 9 of them. He had 9.
Amazing. He sounded great.
Yeah.
Really?
Happy
Yeah.
for him.
So am I.
That's good.
Yeah, the last one was Sunday. Bruce played 2. You probably saw that. Did 2 songs.
I did. I
Yeah.
did.
Sunday. Bruce played 2. You probably saw that.
No, that's me.
Yeah,
Okay, so that was me. So okay, so now I have one part. Okay, so I see you live now. Now I just need to know that you're live.
He's had 9 of them. Yeah. Okay, so I see you. Yeah, I got you live. All right.
I'm good on both, Howie. I'm good
Yeah.
on Cafe and
Okay, let me just go to Spring Nuts a second. Give me 1 second, guys.
So is Bon Jovi also planning on more dates?
Europe.
he's over in Europe. He's
Yeah.
over in Europe for about
No.
10 shows, I think.
No more United States, just Europe now.
Right. I think he's doing Wembley. A couple
Yes.
of shows of him.
Yeah, he's doing stadiums there. He hasn't been there in a few years. So
Amazing. Good for them.
Yeah.
it's one of my trivia questions. Who played percussion before Anthony Almonte in Bruce's band? Everett Bradley. Who's
Everett,
with Bon
yeah, Everett
Jovi
Bradley.
now. He's with Bon Jovi.
Who played
Awesome.
percussion in Disciples of Soul before Anthony Almonte? You know that?
I do not. That's a good.
Wait, let me say
Was that
the
Everett?
disciples.
I was Everett. Yeah.
Nice.
Was it Everett too? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. How about I didn't know.
Everett has paved the way for me.
There you go.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. Yep, I'm good everywhere now. Okay. All right. Let's give it. What are we at? Okay, what time is it? It's
Go for it. 8:03.
Okay, all right, let's do it. All right, guys, welcome to another edition of the Spring Nuts Cafe. First and foremost, we want to welcome back Ryan to the helm and back to the show. Ryan was literally lost a body part. he gave up his what is it?
I gave up my gallbladder. I gave up my gallbladder to be here.
We only canceled the show. So actually, Ryan was in the hospital, 2 hospitals actually, and he got his. But then I told him Anthony Almonte was coming on, so he's doing this from the hospital with a different back. And I gotta be honest with you, Julie wasn't feeling well either earlier tonight, and then all of a sudden I reminded her Anthony was on the show, and instant recovery. So
I'm in the place.
right. And I said Anthony Almonte is not only going to be on the show, but he's not going to wear sleeves tonight. So when he didn't wear sleeves, and I tried it, I went like this too in the beginning, and I figured, it would have the same effect. Not the same effect, by the way. Not the same effect. But Stan is good. Julie's good. Ryan's good. And we are so happy to have Anthony back. He's got a lot going on. We haven't spoken to him since the Serenade, which the Funky Mofos, I mean, they brought down the house tonight.
That was so much fun. Oh my goodness.
And that was an amazing, amazing day, but we're going to get to that later. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things tonight. Obviously, his album, his shows coming up, and we just want to welcome you back, Anthony. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, guys. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. We got a lot to cover.
Yeah, a lot to cover. Unlike your shoulders. But anyway, okay. On that note, Ryan, take over.
Anthony, good to see you again. The last time we've had you on a few times, but the one time was really enjoyable. You and Curtis and Ozzy kind of came on one at a time, and we kind of went through the whole spiel. And you guys, what I found amazing that night was each of you was talking, the other one was like really listening and paying attention, because I was asking them about their backgrounds and like how they got into music and their parents, and you guys were like really listening intently, and I was like, wow. I would think you guys would know everything about each other being on the road for as long as you have, but obviously not.
No, not at all. Those guys have such incredible music histories and backgrounds, that you learn quite a bit. Obviously, being around them, you hear all kinds of stories, and they're phenomenal. but there's always so much more, and it all depends on the question you ask. They're not just going to outright tell you absolutely everything. So it all depends on the question. You ask the right question, and you're going to get some interesting answers, and they're always very entertaining and informative. So yeah, thank you for that. That's why we were all very attentive to one another.
Well, it was a pleasure to talk to you guys. So we want to talk about your new album that's out. You've got some shows coming up that we want to talk about. But just first and foremost, Howie will talk about the serenade later, and Howie, I do have one clip I want to show from that night of one of
Sure.
the songs that they played, just so people that weren't there can get a little bit of a taste of it. My God, I could not believe how good that band was. Um, so you basically were on the road for off and on for 3 years with Bruce and the band. Now you've had a nice long break for a while. Like, how does it feel to be off the road, for a while now?
You know, I'll be honest with you. The first few times we were off the road, it's kind of nerve-wracking. You get used to this certain groove and this schedule, this funk that you get into. And at first it's a little uncomfortable to, when you go back home. It takes a while to readjust. I think this time, or at least the last couple of times, you kind of fall back into some kind of pattern. It helped that I was working on my own record. So you come back to focus directly into something else as opposed to coming back home and going, oh, what do I do now? It's great to have a project just waiting for you at home that you have to dedicate 100% of your time to when you're not out on the road. So it has felt, it's felt great. The tour was obviously incredible. It was powerful. It was amazing. The one tricky thing about this tour was that I had initially planned to release the album May 15th and singles corresponding the months prior, which just happened to fall in the same period as the tour. Um, so it was a little bit of a juggle, kind of promoting the single and the album while also being 100% available and making sure that I was on top of myself for the tour. It was a challenge, but it was a lot of fun.
Good. Do you miss I mean, you're on stage in front of whatever, 25,000, 50,000 people. You get an adrenaline rush as a performer. Does that take a while to get used to not having that feedback every 3 or 4 days, or is not?
I think yes. The short answer is yes. But for me, as long as I'm performing, the size of the crowd doesn't necessarily matter as long as I'm performing in front of a crowd. So one of the things that helped was literally the day after the end of the tour, we had to perform at the Stone Pony for the Spring Serenade. So it was like you didn't have a chance to, come down from the tour high or, readjust. It was like boom, boom, get right back into performance mode, although a different band, but there was no drop off, there. So, but there's a thrill, about, listen, we performed at Madison Square Garden 2 nights. So yes, there's a huge difference when you're performing those kind of venues. But as long as you're in front of a crowd and you're performing fun, great music, I mean, that's what matters to me, as long as I'm enjoying it. And 9.9 times out of 10, I'm enjoying the music that I'm playing.
I can tell you this, just as an outside observer, I just happened to be in Asbury Park at 3 different times in the past couple months. One, you popped into Jesse Mallin's show at Danny Clinch's gallery. You popped into Rachel Dobkin's gig at Asbury Lanes. And like, if you're there in town, man, like you're there, you're smiling, you're having a good time, you're talking to people. It's always such a pleasure to know that you're there and you're gonna bring some electricity to the whatever's happening that day.
First of all, I love Asbury Park, and there's a special energy. There's such a musical air that just kind of permeates in that town. And anytime I'm around and I can support some kind of act like Rachel Anna Dobkin, or if Danny Clinch has an event, or there's something at the Stone Pony, I try to be present as much as I can. It's always a lot of fun, and the the people around, they come over and say what's up, and they're super appreciative of one coming over. So it's a lot of fun, which is really why I decided to do an event at the Wonder Bar in the middle of the summer. I didn't want the summer to end without having done something there and bring something a little different, which is like the Latin soul thing. Like I wanted to come down and just offer something down to that area.
It's great. So let's talk about the new album. Sorry, I do not speak Spanish, so
Give it a try. Give it a try.
Don't
Come
kill
on.
me. Conversando con la Luna.
Close. I mean, I suppose
Conversations with the moon. Is that the interpretation?
Exactly.
What I loved about it was you got 10 tracks. I listened to it 3 times in the past couple days, and it played to me like you go out for an evening with your friends or by yourself, and you got the prelude, and you kind of hear tinkling going on in the background at a bar, at a club, something, and then the songs pick up, and then it kind of comes back down at the end. It's like one long evening. That's how it played to me as a listener.
I love that you're saying that, because so Conversing with the Moon is an album. It's definitely a concept album. When I started putting the songs together for this record, I wanted, the most important aspect to me was how easy of a listen is the album. I didn't want it to be something that's heavy on the listener. I wanted it to be something that is very smooth. You listen from track 1 through track 10. And a big thing for me was, although you may not understand what's being sung, I want you to feel the music and feel the melodies and whatever comes up for you. That's more important to me than actually understanding every single word of the songs. One of the greatest feedbacks that I've gotten from listeners is, I don't know a word you're saying on the record, but I feel this love, and I feel this easiness about the album. I imagine myself drinking wine in the evening, listening to this record, and yeah, that's exactly what I set out to do with this record. Because an insider, I wrote the majority of the songs, not all, but even the songs that I chose, I focused on the melody first, because if the melody moves me, the harmony supports that. And if the harmony supports that, then I write a song based off of what I feel, or I take on songs based on what I feel off of those melodies. And it was precisely that. I wanted to take you through a journey while listening to the record from first track to last. So it was a lot of fun. And then obviously there's multiple special guests on there, but having Stevie Van Zandt on there, and Charlie Giordano and Rich Mercurio on drums, and Ozzy Melendez on bones for the whole. Like, there's just the union of my rock and roll world with my Latin world. That's what was most special to me.
So were these songs that you had been working on off and on for the last 3 years while you were on tour? Had you started doing some of this before even the tour started? Talk to us about your process.
Yeah, so most of these songs were done during tour. There are, I'd say, probably a couple of songs that were written prior. One of the main songwriters, his name is Manolo Vega. He's kind of like my Spanish songwriting mentor, and he's become a family member over the last 10 years. He has a song on the track, which is probably the oldest song written in the album. That song was written probably 30 years ago. That's the only song that exists like that on the record. Everything else is pretty much new, around the time that I've joined the E Street Band. And that keeps things very fresh, and you take these songs and then you start to think about, like, one of the fun parts about doing this record was me putting my producer hat on. I'm not a percussionist on this record. I just sang. I'm a songwriter, and I produced it. I co-produced it with one of my good friends, Jonathan Montes, which the fun part about that is you sit back and you piece it together. How do you make the song come to life? Or how do you make this album come to life? How do you tell a story? What's the track order? All of those things come into play when you're producing a record. And I think that was my favorite part of putting this record together.
So talk to us about so Stevie's on Caminando. Am I saying that
Yeah.
right? Caminando.
Oh yeah. Very good.
So Stevie's obviously an excellent guitarist.
Yeah.
He can be, overwhelmed, not purposely, but he can be loud and overwhelming, and he's stinging the strings. But on this one, very subtle, very jazzy, very quiet. It's got that Stevie edge to it. But so talk to us about how you approached him. Come in and play on this. Walk us through that.
So very interesting. I was mortified to ask Stevie to be a part of this record because I love Stevie. You guys know that. Like, I have a great relationship with Stevie, and I think it's pretty public now. Like, we're just, I adore him. He's been, like my musical godfather since I was 25 years old. He just kind of taken me around the world and, brought me into Wicked Cool, and it's like just all these things. He was the one that really pushed me to, for Bruce to invite me onto the E Street tour. And with all of that, I was still petrified to ask him. So Bruce was playing, what's the acoustic song that he plays in the middle of the set?
Rainmaker, or not Rainmaker?
Last Man Standing.
Land of a thousand, Home of thousand.
Right.
Guitars. Yeah.
House of a
So,
Thousand Guitars.
House of a
Thousand
Okay.
Guitars. So he was playing that. This was, I guess 2024 or maybe 2025. I can't remember exactly. We started recording end of 2024. So it most likely was, it might have been, that was the tour. We were in Canada. So November of 24, right? We were sitting by the side of Roy's piano. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, I have to ask him. I have the song. I prepared it, and I knew I wanted to invite Stevie onto the record and to be a special guest. And my train of thought was, I don't want Stevie to just play on this. I want to feature him. I want him to have the feature, because that's like for me, that's the highest level of respect towards an artist. Like, put him as a featured artist, especially Stevie on guitar, because he's known for so many different things. For being an arranger and arranging the horns, and this great producer and a great actor, and being, the consigliere to Bruce, and all these great things. But he's a guitarist first and foremost, and a phenomenal singer and frontman, by the way. But he's a guitarist, and I wanted to really showcase that, like to give him his flowers, So we're sitting by the piano, and I'm like, hey Stevie, I've been recording this record. And he's like, oh yeah, it's a salsa record. Yeah. We started recording this like a month ago. Oh, great. Is there a guitar on there? And like, it just jumped immediately ahead of me. And I'm like, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, yes. He goes, well, yeah, if you need any guitar, sign me up. I want to be a part. And I'm like, first of all, thank God you just made it easy on me, because I was, I was struggling with it. And I was like, well, as a matter of fact, there's this song I have, and it's specifically made for you. Like, I want you to be the featured guitarist on it. And he's like, well, one song, I could play the whole album, like whatever you want. And I'm like, well, look, Stevie, I appreciate it, but I really want you to be featured on my album. I don't want you to be just a musician. You mean that much to me. I want you to be a featured artist on my record. He goes, well, yeah, baby, whatever you, yeah, I'd love to be part of it. So then we go into the studio. I bring my engineer with me. And then I brought Ryan Shelley, who was the guy that filmed it. There's a video of all of this. And Ryan was the one who did all the live shows, like all the live videos of Disciples of Soul for the previous years. So I knew Steve was going to be comfortable having Ryan there. But he's literally going to play guitar on a 32 bar part of the song. Now, 32 bars, it's quite a long time, but when you're playing it, you don't feel it as much, So when I told him it was a 32 bars solo, he's like, are you kidding me? He's like, I haven't done a solo this long. You could put all my solos all together, they don't make 32 bars. And I'm like, well, just try playing it and just feel it out, And the first take, I mean, crushes it. Like it was literally what I was imagining when I was putting the song together with Manolo, and I knew that I wanted Stevie a part of it. Like he just knocked it out of the park. And I remember he finished the song. I just jumped up and I was like, "That's it! Like we're done."
Wow.
And even though he was mortified about playing 32 bars, it's like, "Are you kidding me? I want to do more. Like I want to play some more. This was a lot of fun." But so he gave me like 7 more takes, which I ended up not using any of them because the first they were all phenomenal.
Wow.
But he just knocked it out of the park the very first time. Like he just understood. He heard it for the first time, just played whatever came to him, and it was gold. It was super special. And then having the chance to play with Disciples of Soul just what is it, a week ago, playing that live in Freehold, that was really special and emotional for me, because Disciples of Soul, I joined Disciples of Soul when I was 25 years old. I look at Mark Ribler and Rich Mercury, all those guys, Jack, all of those guys. I mean, and to be able to come up front and sing, and have that moment with Stevie was very special.
I was at that show, and what you were saying before, I didn't know a word of what you were singing, but I felt it. Definitely felt it, and the whole crowd felt it. And was that Stevie's idea? You, Jesse, did a song, a few of the other members. So did he come to you and say, "I want you to have an opportunity to sing"? And how'd you feel about that?
He came up with this idea months prior. So we recorded that song, and he had mentioned to me, I want to do something with Disciples, which is wild because Disciples doesn't play often, but he had this forethought. I want to do some shows, but I want to make it a review. I want to have Ribbler sing a song, Jesse Wagner, Banana, who crushed. I love the hippie song, and when he came out up front, I could not stop laughing because I love Banana, but he's such a character, and he started acting out that last, like, those lines it was just amazing. And I recorded on that song as well. So to see it come to life was just awesome. But Stevie thought of this months. That's how his mind works. Like he's so ahead of the shit, So he had asked me, he wanted me to play the song, he wanted it to be a part of it. The weird thing was that, so I wasn't around for the rehearsals because I had some shows with Ozzy in Toronto, and then I had to go to Los Angeles to a Latin jazz record. So I wasn't around for rehearsals. So I didn't get a chance to see what the song sounded like with Disciples of Soul. And, Stevie changes everything. Like once it comes in to Stevie, he's going to change stuff around. So, finally, like the day before the show, I get a board mix from Ribbler. He goes, Stevie changed a few things, just a heads up. I'm like, I knew that was going to happen. But then I take a listen to it, and there was nothing drastic. He just kind of repeated some of the horn lines because he really liked them. And then I'm listening to it, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. Like one of my songs being played by Disciples of Soul. Yeah, wow. That stays with me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nice. So on the album, I hate to ask this, but like as far as your process, you doing the melody and then the lyrics come later, lyrics first, melody?
So for me, my songwriting process, melody comes first. So what I try to do is, my mind works that way. I just have constant melodies going in my head. And I'll record a melody and I'll play the supporting harmony behind it. And whatever emotion kind of emotes out of that, that's what I'll make the song about. I let the melody dictate what the song is going to be about. I never think about, like, which I've done before, but there's songs that I go, I'm gonna write about a heartbreak, or I'm gonna write about, a dad giving advice to his daughter, or like, there's all these different ideas you can come up with, but I'd rather let the melody dictate because I just feel it's more congruent with what people are listening to. So when they listen to the melody, I'm just singing to support that more so than just forcing. It's like you hear a very happy melody and the song is about some brutal heartbreak, or like the loss of a loved one. Like, it's just like, this is jarring. Like, there's something here that doesn't So I really try to support whatever the melody is kind of exuding, and it's pretty easy for me. It's interesting. Like I'll put a melody up, I'll start singing, and immediately in my mind I go, "Oh, this song sounds like me talking to my inner child, and saying it's okay," or this song sounds like me apologizing to a loved one who I've hurt. Like these things it just comes out. Just the melody just kind of screams at me. These things.
So would you have it pretty much down and you'd go in the studio, or would you go in and everybody would kind of work out the parts and what they wanted to do, or explain to us about that and working with everybody in the studio?
So the process, at least for me, I try to get it. I get my idea out completely. So before I include anyone in, I try to just map out what my idea is. Then I generally, which in Latin music, because Latin music has a lot of moving pieces, um, I'll relay it to an arranger. Which back in early 60s, like rock and roll, there were arrangers, people that or orchestrators, as people would call. They would write these parts for an orchestra, for a band. I would do the same exact thing. In this case, my primary arranger orchestrator is my co-producer Jonathan Montes, who lives in Los Angeles. So I'll tell him, look, I have this song. This is what I have so far. This is what I've written. This is my melody. Blah 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 blah. I present it to him. He starts putting these parts together and present it to me. We'll go back and forth a little bit, trying to fine tune it, and then we bring the musicians in, and at that point the song is pretty much done. It's just going over really refined things, but the bulk of the song is done. They just come in and record the stuff. But someone like Ozzy Melendez, for example, will come in and go, what if we phrase it this way as opposed to like straight, or this note is too long, let's cut it short. It becomes very detailed. But we come in with the song pretty much done. They just kind of refine it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, I listened to it 3 times. I listened to it the first time, didn't understand a word. And then I thought, I wonder, maybe I should translate the lyrics to each song. And I was like, no, no, no. Like in my mind, I just want to imagine what it is you're singing about, what you're talking about. Like, I don't want to know. Like, I just want that
Yeah.
visual image in my head that I got that first time that I listened to it. So was there a conscious choice to do it in Spanish, or that's just your natural tongue?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
your
yeah.
primary tongue?
Absolutely. Okay. My mind is taking me there, so I'm going to say it. I thought you were going to say, the first time I heard it, I didn't understand it. The second time I heard it, I didn't understand it. And then the third time I heard it, I didn't understand it either. But yes, so I knew I wanted to make a Spanish record way before, this is something that I've been thinking about years before joining the issue band. So I was a co-artist on a record that I did with one of my mentors, Little Johnny Rivero, and it's called Mejor que Nunca, which translates to Better Than Ever. That album came out in 2023 during the first year I was on tour, like right before the summer, literally when we were in Barcelona, that album dropped, and I did that record, and I was the majority songwriter on there. I co-produced. I wore a lot of hats on that record, which was a blessing because it was such a huge production, a lot of musicians involved. And I knew then that I wanted to do a Latin record, but telling my story. And there was an interview that we did with Stevie that actually, I think Wicked Cool just posted it up in the last couple of days. But like one of the things that's very important to me is my ties to my culture, and Spanish being my first language at home. Like we still speak Spanish, my parents and I.
So when you think, I'm sorry, when you think in Spanish?
So oddly enough, I think in Arabic. No, I'm just joking.
Gotta go.
Nice.
So I actually, that's a question that I got asked a lot. Do I think dream, immediate responses, are they in Spanish? The answer is it's bilingual. Depending on the mood I'm in, what was I thinking prior? Like it's a combination of both. So their responses, immediate responses to Spanish. I have dreams in English and in Spanish.
Oh, that's so funny.
it's pretty bizarre. My mind works, and so there are many times that um, I have an easy time translating between the two languages, but there are moments that are very difficult because for whatever reason my mind gets stuck. Like there'll be a word, I'll be talking in Spanish and there's this word in English that I can't translate in a moment, and vice versa. Um, it's I guess, and I guess that's a common thing with bilingual or trilingual.
That's kind of
Um,
like what menopause is like.
Yes, same thing, exactly.
Yeah.
Just,
Right?
you just can't pull the word in. You know?
I love there's four guys in this panel. You're the only one with that experience.
Yes, yes.
I'm well aware of that.
That's why she's on the panel. Yes.
We need some balance. We need some balance, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's interesting, but yeah, I wanted to make a Spanish record, and that's something that I knew I wanted to make, way in advance, which is odd because I love singing in English, and it's funny when I sing in English, people go, Jesus, like you have to record something in English,
Mm.
which will happen. I'm working on putting something together that makes sense because it's also, I had a vision in mind with this record, but then the steps that follow have to make sense. It has to be cohesive as well. It's not like I'm just going to put out a random rock and roll record tomorrow and it has nothing to do with like there has to be some unity between it all. At least that's how my mind works. And we're working on that. But yeah, it's very interesting.
Do you have like does it bother you that Anglos that don't speak Spanish are listening to this and not understanding the lyrics? I mean,
Not
as
at
long as
all.
as long as we're enjoying the music and getting something out of it, being moved in some form or fashion, you're good with it.
That's all that matters to me. As long as people are moved by it, they whatever bring whatever comes up for the listener, that's their experience with the music.
Mm.
I don't want to control that. I don't That's their process with the music. So if something comes up for them, I'm modern enough that my music was able to do that for them. I don't worry so much about the lyrics. Now, if you do understand the lyrics, well, phenomenal. And if there's something that you relate to, lyrically, then amazing. You know, but it's like I'll give you an example. We go out to all these European countries. A lot of these audiences don't speak English. Like we'll be in Spain, and the majority do because most people speak English. Especially in Europe, everyone is bilingual in Europe. But there's a huge audience that doesn't speak English, yet they're singing "Born to Run," "Back to You," and all.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
like how do you
Wow.
explain that? It's just like,
Mm.
well, that's what moved them somehow. Whatever their experience with that is, that's more than valid. So same thing with my music. I just value the experience that they have with my tunes.
All right. Well, check out Anthony's new album, Conversando con la Luna. Sorry,
Very
I'm butchering
good.
that,
No, no,
Anthony.
very
I'm
good
sorry.
stuff.
If I say it 100 times, I'll be good. So you got a show coming up at the Wonder Bar. So are you out doing? Is there some other shows that you're doing? Or do you have a website that people can check out your dates?
So
Instagram?
yeah, I put all my stuff is on my Instagram. I just reopened Facebook recently, so there'll be stuff on there as well. But my Instagram is Vamo, Vamo, and my last name Almonte. And I put all my, all the dates there. Wonder Bar is going to be interesting. So literally, what I want. So we just had the album release party at Dizzy's at Jazz and Lincoln Center, which was a ton of fun. We did two shows. They both ended up selling out. To my surprise, I never come in with any expectations to these things. And we had a blast. And Stevie was there with Maureen and Andrew Veneto, who does the wardrobe for Disciples of Soul, and Maureen's sisters, and my parents were there, my best friends, like it's just so many people that came from different walks of my life. And we had a blast. There were some spring nuts there, which, by the way, thank you guys so much. And that was a fun show. Then I went out to Los Angeles to the show out there. This weekend, it's tough because it's an invite-only event, but we're presenting the album as well in Miami on Friday. So then the Wonder Bar show is purely an idea of mine that I've been wanting to do for a while, actually. Um, there's a band that I bring together with one of my close friends, Steven Salcedo, who has also worked with Disciples of Soul saxophonist and recorded on my record. We do like a Latin soul thing, and we play all these different covers. We do original stuff, and I, for a long time, I thought this would be a blast to present down in Asbury Park to some capacity. Now, this music is as summer as it gets. So I figured this would be a perfect summer party. We do like one long set and just really go to town. And I mean, this band really goes to town. One of the musicians in that band is actually the drummer that played at the Spring Nut Serenade.
Oh, he was great.
Victor Otto Vargas, who is unbelievable. And one of my favorite drummers, one of my favorite human beings in the world. So I went to Zach Sadler and I was like, dude, because he was like, man, you should bring something down to the to Asbury Park. Would you be willing to do something at the Wonder Bar? I was like, well, as a matter of fact, I have this thing in mind that I would love to do. And within all of that, I also want to present a couple of my songs of my record, including Caminando, which is a Latin soul song, really. It's a Latin soul / rock and roll, with Stevie's presence and Charlie on there. Let's do a Latin soul summer party. And then I told the guys from Wicked Cool Records, and they're like, okay, let's make it a wicked cool Latin soul summer party. And I'm like, you know what? I am all for that. So this is just going to be a massive party with some, I mean, ridiculous musicians. These guys are absolutely unbelievable. I'm dragging them down from New York City. And yeah, we're just going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's Sunday, August 9th, 7 p.m. And speaking of Zach Sandler, he just posted the link to get tickets.
Beautiful.
You just mentioned his name and he popped up with the link to get tickets.
So that's what we're trying to do here, folks. So part of the of us bringing Anthony on tonight, even though many of the women like to come and just look and he doesn't have to say anything, but other than that, we wanted to.
Poor Anthony.
Oh, this is going to be forever, so it doesn't matter. He knows that already. He's locked in. So we want all the Spring Nuts to come down and support Anthony and his work. Me and Julie are planning to go down. I'm sure a lot of people. I'm seeing people now. They're saying, "I just bought a ticket. I just bought a ticket." So that is what we want to do. We want to come down. We want to support Anthony and his band. We want to have a good time, and it's another way of us getting together and having a great time. Now, like if you saw what Anthony and Ozzy and Curtis and the band brought to the Serenade that time. I mean, Anthony is gonna bring down the house. We don't have to tell you that. Everything he does, is he even when he was doing it. I mean, I wasn't there obviously, but I did see a video of you performing that song out in Freehold last week, and you could tell how much you were taking it all in and enjoying it. So, guys, if you guys can, to join us, please, let's make this a thing. Let's do this, and let's all come down, and support Anthony and the band, and let's have a great time. You don't have to understand. And I was speaking to Anthony offline. He said he's, he's going to do, If I Were the Priest in Spanish for everybody. So,
wow, going deep.
Right. Some people can't even sing it in English. So, but he's gonna do it in Spanish for you guys. So that's gonna be interesting as hell.
I'll be honest with you. That's a song I've been wanting to cover for. It's such a great song. And I always think back to the first Serenade we went to. Like just everyone just bursting into singing that song. I will never forget that.
It came out of nowhere. I didn't expect it. I was just like, when just getting into the whole history of us, so for the people that weren't at the Serenade this year, and I was talking about how this all came together.
Yeah.
So we had this in Serenade. I think it was 5, and there was a 1 year that we didn't do it in Asbury because Bruce and the band were playing,
At MetLife, yeah.
MetLife, and we wanted to make sure that we can bring it all together so people didn't have to travel back and forth. And one of the things at the same time, Nikki Germain had her, awesome book, coming out. So we said, we were going to have Nikki come down and do the book signing, and Gary Talent was so nice of him to come down and to join her. And then, Nikki mentioned that, Anthony and Ozzy were going to come down. Now, again, I didn't know them yet. It was the first time I was getting to know them, but, we
Right.
exchanged numbers and all this stuff. And, again, I want to just repeat the story for the people that weren't there, and didn't know, at the last night in the story that I told is that so we went to the MetLife shows, me and Jules and whatever, and throughout the time, we were going back and forth, but the show ended, and me and Julie were leaving the parking lot of MetLife, and it was couldn't have been more than a half an hour, if that. Okay, if that. And we went there and we were talking about the show, and all of a sudden I got this text from Anthony, and he says, "Hey, Howie, it's Anthony. We're coming tomorrow." And I'm like, oh my God, you just finished the show like not even 20 minutes ago. I'm the first thing that you're thinking about. I'm like, I couldn't believe but that's how much they cared and they wanted
Yeah.
to do this. And we kept it as a surprise, and we wanted to, whatever. And the funniest thing is, so Anthony said, I'll meet you in Red's parking lot, and we'll take you up. And I'm never gonna forget, so Nikki and Gary were on the second floor of Reds, and I met them in the parking lot, and we did our hellos, and then I'm bringing him up, and as I'm bringing Ozzy and Anthony up, you see everyone's jaw drop because we didn't tell anybody they were coming, and they do us like what. And then all of a sudden we brought him. Everyone's going crazy and whatever. You think Elvis just came in, and Anthony was actually wearing sleeves, so it wasn't even
I
wasn't
was.
he
I
was wearing
definitely
sleeves
was.
that now. He was
And
wearing
it was
sleeves.
hot too. It was hot that day.
Right, it was hot. So now we bring him up, and all of a sudden the whole crowd breaks into "If I Were a
If I'm a
Priest"
priest.
out of nowhere. It's like nothing that was planned, and everyone was singing. And I remember Anthony breaking out his phone. He wanted to film this because he couldn't, whatever. And I'm like, well, welcome to the Spring Nuts, because this is just. And I don't have to, long story short, with that is that, I expected them just to say hello, take a group picture with us, and especially playing a show the night before, and be on their way. But there was literally a line going from the main room down the stairs, and they were outside taking pictures, and they stayed. It wasn't like another Bruce concert. 4 hours they stayed and took pictures with every single person that was there. And I remember me and Jules and Amy at the time, Amy Cameron, we went and we said, listen, guys, we didn't expect you to do this. You don't have to do this. Please, we felt terrible. And they looked at us and they said, we're good. We want to do this. And after that, I said we just were floored. And like I told you many, many times, I don't think you realize how many lives you changed that night. And I know you heard a bunch of stories that moved you guys,
Yeah.
and we built, I'm, all kidding aside, we built a great friendship,
Yeah.
from that night. And I always said this, it's, I always use this analogy, that to be in the East Street Band, so to speak, or whatever, it's not just being a talented musician or an artist. It's also the way you interact with your fans, and the way, and you and Ozzy and Curtis, and then, even Michelle Moore, but you guys really carry that. And it's an important thing because, no matter where you are on the street, and it's like actually one of the questions I was going to ask you is like, when from where we were, and then you're in the Disciples or so, and then you go to the East Street Band, and you can't even walk. And I've seen videos. You're in Italy. You're in you're in Italy, you're in this, all around the world, and people are stopping you outside the hotels, and you're never saying no to anyone. You're always taking a picture. Oh, like everyone says here, you're always smiling. One person said he was wondering if anybody approached you about doing a toothpaste commercial. I'm reading the comments here. And but you carry yourself in a way that you belong in the E Street Band, because
Wow.
all the band members, that's the way they are. All the, I know Stan can attest to that. Anybody that's, you meet an E Street Band member, they're always approachable. They don't forget where they came from. And no matter how legendary and how anything, they are, they're always engaging.
Yeah.
Now now here we are, and we have the cafes, and we do all this, and then we, whatever, and then we're saying, you know what? I had this deal. Let me see what we can do differently this year for the serenade that's gonna. And I like to throw things, shit on the wall to see what's gonna stick, and see, And I said, guys, would you be interested in playing the serenade? And again, this is before the tour was announced. So, right, this is not. We don't even have a Bruce tour yet, so I figured we're in the clear. And I said, okay, so I'm good. And I said, okay, let's. And then all of a sudden, you guys came back pretty quickly and said, yeah, we're in. And I said, oh wow, fantastic, let's do it. And then first thing, all of a sudden, we sell the tickets and everything is, everyone's excited, and most we've ever sold to all in all our serenades is the most. And all of a sudden, and the only thing I signed in the contract, I said, this is never going to happen to me anyway. So, but in the contract, it says, the only reason why we would need to cancel is if Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band go back on tour and Bruce pulls them. I said, well, that's not going to happen because they're not touring this year. My luck. Bruce says, hey, we're going to tour this year. And I don't know the dates yet, and I'm freaking out. And I know, again, I was getting side texts from Curtis, and he's giving me the sweating emojis. And I'm like, there's no plan B here, guys. Okay. There's no plan B. And then all of a sudden we get the tour schedule, and it's stopping 4 days before the serenade. Okay, we're in the clear. I'm good. We're good. Couple months later, playoffs, basketball playoffs, go Knicks. So
Right.
all of a sudden Philly decides to
Beat the Celtics.
And that's going to be the night that the Bruce is going to play in Philly. So obviously that, and it says on the ticket that, the playoffs take precedent, okay, and subject to change. And, trust me, Anthony, if you win the group that week, oh my God, you should have seen what was going on. Everything was about, about the rescheduling of the shows. Anyway, so now again, I'm sweating, I'm freaking, and then I ask Anthony, I go, guys, do you know when this show is going to be rescheduled? Because it only can be one of two nights. I already knew this because you had the archive show coming up.
That's
okay.
Right.
Yeah, the archive show is going up, and you had Washington, and there was no room for any of this. So, and you said to me, I would think that you would know before me, Howie. And I'm like, oh no, does it look like I know it before you? I'm here, it's like 2:00 in the morning, and I'm freaking out, okay? Because there's no plan B. And so sure enough, Bruce, it can only be two nights. It could be the Saturday night of the 29th or the 30th of the day of the night of the serenade. And thank you, God, he chose
It
the
was that
29th.
Saturday.
It was that Saturday night. Okay. Okay. And I was like, thank you, God. And everything was, worked out. And even though Ozzy still busts my balls to this day about it, but it's
You don't have to give Ozzy much.
No, I know. Oh my God. I thought he was getting a big kick out of this. I'm like, there's no plan B. And someone was telling me, goes, what would happen? So what? So what if they can't play, if they can't come because they have the show, the Spring Nuts will understand. I'm like, do you know anything about the Spring Nuts? They're not going to understand shit. They're not buying the tickets for us. They're buying the tickets to see the mofos. Okay, if there's no mofos, we're in trouble. So anyway, thank God everything worked out. And so just getting to that night, and I
Howie,
mean,
I got something queued up. I wanted to play just a little snippet of, if that's okay.
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
As
yeah.
a setup,
Go ahead.
as a
Yeah.
setup to this.
Let's see.
Again, Anthony, I cannot tell you how impressed I was with the band and you guys vocalizing and harmonizing. I was like, oh my God, this is like the real deal.
Another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. I got some money, cause I just got paid. How I wish I had someone to talk to. I'm in another way. One time. Do that again. Another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. I got some money, cause I just got paid. Oh, how I wish I had someone to talk to. I'm in it a whole way. I got it.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome. Dude, that band that you had, they were incredible. And then you guys harmonizing, it was like, and I love, so how did you guys get together and pick, the stuff? Because there's a lot of obviously old standard R&B soul stuff there. What was that?
yeah. So when we first came up with the funky, well, first of all, Stevie gave us that name, Funky Mofos, but it was initially the pre-show band, because it came from the pre-shows that Curtis, Ozzy, and I would do. We picked out songs initially by the videos that we did. So that was one of them. We did that song, like we harmonized that in some bathroom somewhere in Europe. And it came out great. So we're like, all right, we have to play that. Carry On Wayward was another one. There were a number of songs that we did, as the pre-show gang. And then, so crazy, the first time we put that band together was for Teach Rock. It was a Teach Rock fundraiser. Michael Ann's like, well, you guys have this whole thing happening. Would you be able to put a band together? And we're like, absolutely. Like this, we've been waiting for someone to ask us to do this. So we did, and we used pretty much all of those musicians, with the exception of Miles Robertson on keys that night, and Tony Ormond guitars, which they're both incredible musicians. That was the first time they played with us, like that whole thing. And as you guys know, we didn't have any time to rehearse any of this. So they just walked in. We sent them all the music in advance. They learned the stuff, but we played, just kind of vibing off of each other on stage that day. Now, everyone else we had played together prior. The bassist, Gabe Otero, the drummer Otto, John Scarpula, the saxophone, who's amazing. Every time he takes a solo, I'm like, oh my goodness. But we didn't get to rehearse. So the only time we had a chance to run some stuff was sound check, which was at 10 in the morning. Was it, Howie? We went over to the venue. I mean, it was like, the night before we played Philly, we had the interview at 9 in the morning, and then we did the sound check. So that's really all we had.
But you guys were great. I mean, honestly, even the sound check was like we couldn't believe. It was great. I mean, the whole thing came together so beautifully. I can say without a doubt how everyone to this day, like, they always say, I don't know how you're gonna top that day. I don't even have that. And it's because of you guys, and you guys really. I hope you felt the love and the energy.
Oh
that
yeah,
was coming out of that audience, because even for me, that was watching it from my end, and again, me planning this and wanting everything to go well and whatever. I want to outdo it also, but I'm saying I could see how everyone was eating it up, and I was looking at you guys having a great time, and I was looking at the Spring Nuts having a good time, and even someone was mentioning, even Danny was in the audience with us, and then all of a sudden he comes up and he does the thing, and I'm like, and me and Julia looking at each other, and like, can you believe this? Like, this is crazy. And then Michelle Moore's like, I don't know. I'm like, Michelle, get up there, get up there, get there. Come on, come on. And she's up there. It was just to see everyone having a good time.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. And so we'll have to do this every year.
Yeah.
Listen, we're more than ready. A couple of things. It was absolutely special. We had a blast, and um, it's very sweet, to have a moment to really connect with the audience. We connect with people because we're all people. Um, and I just love that the Spring Nuts, each individual, like they're very comfortable to come over and just say hello, and in such a respectful and loving way. Number one, and number two, I know I speak on behalf of Ozzy and Curtis. The award you guys gave us that afternoon was a huge surprise, number one, but also it was very heartfelt for us. Um, we can't thank you enough for that, because that was such an awesome, beautiful, and loving gesture. Um, that's one of my favorite awards, that I've ever gotten. I have it on I have a home studio, and it's right on top of my right speaker. I know exactly where it is. It was just it was amazing, and I think we went on to do the performance after you guys had presented us that, with a little extra emotion, and and some passion, some fire under our asses, like that was super awesome, like really, really, really special, and such a huge surprise. And then you told the stories of, yeah, like when we met, the day after the MetLife performance, and all of that, and you know we could feel the love from the people, and um what we offer to them, not just musically, like it's,
Exactly.
you can feel that, you can absolutely feel that, and listen, if you do music for anything else, I mean, that's as special as it gets,
Well, I don't mean to, but I'm saying that. See, those awards was a no-brainer, and it's going back to what I was saying earlier, because it wasn't just, well, kidding, not blowing smoke up your ass or anything like that. It was the way you have been with all of us, and I know I'm speaking for the group, because there hasn't been a person that I've met that has met you guys, and that you've never said no to them, even that day in the Reds when you spent all those hours. It's not just a thank you for the music, it's a thank you for how you made them and us feel so special. I can't think of other bands on your guys' level, and in the E Street Band, that take the time and spend the time with the fans, and that award, just so is it was named there for after a um a longtime member of our group that had recently passed away last year.
yeah, yeah.
And he was really well up, but he brought in the same thing that you guys brought. It was that friendship, that connection, that engagement, those smiles that you bring. Again, it's not just in the music, it's just how you carry yourselves. And for us, was a no-brainer. Okay, a no-brainer. And you guys deserved,
Wow.
you, Ozzy, and Curtis deserved it. And I know how much you wanted to do the show for us.
Yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? So again, I know I shouldn't say it like this, and Maureen tells me not to say it. We're nobodies, but we were, but you
Marine
really,
is right.
but but you guys came, and you really wanted us to have a good time, and you brought it. So
Yeah.
you deserve it, and I wish we could have done more. So
Well,
thank
that's what we wanted. We wanted to make sure we brought the house down. We wanted you guys, everybody, to have a time. And we had a phenomenal time.
you.
Like, we had a blast. And also, it's like, it's not often that we get, to do
Mhm.
that. That kind of format, and just laugh with each other, which is very obvious when you're watching the show. Like, we're
Mhm.
looking at each other, laughing, just having a great time. because that's what that is. You know,
Right.
it's three brothers and well more. You know, it's nine of us.
Right.
Just really vibing off each other and just kind of exuding it out to the audience. You know, and there was really no better audience than that serenade. You know, we had a great time. But
I'm
one
happy.
other thing I wanted to mention, yeah, when you're a part of a band like the E Street Band, you're right. There aren't a lot of bands that that carry that level of respect and that level of appreciation of where they are and what they do. You know, just personally speaking, being a part of that group has really meant the world to me. Not just because of the experience of what can I get out of being a part of this band, but just being surrounded by such incredible human beings. You know, sitting down with all of them. I mean, Nils, you know, Max, Jake, Susan, like all of them. You know, Barry Danilian, like you hear all these kind of stories and everything that they tell you, you'd be an idiot to not retain all of that. You know, it's just they're great folks, and especially, you know, it's such a big group that it's hard to get everybody kind of together in one room when it's an off day. But when we do, it's like, yeah, this is it. you know, there aren't a lot of groups like this. Shit, there aren't groups like this. Period. You know, there's one. It's the E Street Band, and then really not that far behind is the Disciples of Soul, because Disciples is something unbelievably special. You know, and if it wasn't for Disciples of Soul, I wouldn't know what the E Street Band is. Honestly, you know, that experience is exactly what prepared me, you know, to even be remotely comfortable with the E Street Band. That's what Stevie and all the guys with Disciples and women did. So, yeah, I'm very blessed to be a part of two phenomenal bands that really care about their audiences.
Anthony, was there a point, especially when you're on tour with Europe the last few years, where there's 70,000 people there and you're like, I'm living the dream. Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's happened. Oh, my goodness. It's happened a lot of times. There's been so many moments I can name off the top of my head. The first night we played at Madison Square Garden in 23.
Yeah.
The very first show in Tampa. Barcelona was something else, you know. San Siro, this last run, Wembley. When we played Gothenburg, all 3 nights, I was like, what is happening out here? You know, the first year we played in Dublin, which was 23, there were so many moments where I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, looking out to, you know, the side and seeing Tom Hanks and Barack Obama, and you're just like, what is going on? You know, there's so many moments, and that's something that I promised myself. I wanted to make sure that those moments wouldn't pass, just kind of go over my head. You know, I wanted to take snapshots of like I can close my eyes and I can remember how I felt, the air, you know, what was I looking at on each and every one of those stages, you know. Now there's some that you go, oh my goodness, what was this? Sunderland for me, I was like, oh my God. You know, it's freezing cold, it's raining, you know, I'm thinking, this is going to be the hardest show. I mean, it was so cold, it was brutal, you know, and those things exist and they're great stories. So it's like you take them because it's all part of it. Like, it's amazing, you know, and you're battling up there with 18 of the most incredible folks you can meet. So, you know,
Anthony, remember when we interviewed the three of you the first night, I think you told the story about Bobby Jean, like, you know, somewhere over in Europe, 50,000 people are doing this, and Bruce looked over at you, and you looked at him, and you were like,
I started sobbing.
He was like, yep.
Oh, so this was in Barcelona. This was the very first show. That's when he was, you know, doing the whole Barcelona, Anthony, but you know, like for like 3 months. He kept telling me this at the gym. Or we finished, you know, we had the first February, March, and April in the US in 23. And he told me the Barcelona thing probably towards the end of February. He's like, you haven't seen anything yet. Wait till we get to Barcelona. You know, and he starts just like leaning on this thing. So he's telling me this at the gym. when we're saying goodbye at the end of the show, where we're kind of shaking his hand and hugging him before. Every time it'd come up to me, he'd go, Barcelona, Anthony, Barcelona, and it's like, okay, and then Barcelona finally happens, and it was a lot. Like, I mean, and Bobby Jean was whatever the second encore song, but by that time, everyone put out their lights and they're all waving their hands, and it happened. Shortly after, we started kind of dictating that, but that happened organically. And that intro, I remember looking around and going, I can't believe my life right now. Like, I can't believe what I have Stevie right in front of me, Gary and Bruce, and I'm watching this backdrop. That is insanely powerful. And I just started sobbing. And right when I start sobbing, Bruce decides to fucking turn around and look at, like, dead at me, just with his guitar just playing, watching me. And I'm like, you got me, I'm crying, I'm done. And he just goes, it's all right, and turns around and starts singing his verse. And I don't know how I kept time. I'm playing tambourine. My tambourine is really loud. And I'm like, if I lose my time, Max Weinberg's gonna look at me and go, what are you doing over there? So I had to make sure I keep my time, but it was tough because I got so emotional. That entire song, I mean, if you find any videos of that song, the first night in Barcelona, Bobby Jean, I was insanely emotional. And then when we finished that show, that's when Bruce put his arm over my shoulder. We're walking down off the stage together, and man, he thanked me for being a part of this. He and it's like, Bruce is thanking me for being a part of this. It's like, dude, thank you for giving me one of the greatest experiences of my life that I will always cherish. But those are things you never forget. Every detail of that, I will never forget.
And even get you front row seats behind home plate at Yankees games now. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm watching a game. I think it was last year. I'm like, there's Anthony, front row behind home plate.
You told me that, and I sent Anthony the screenshot while he was at the game.
Yeah,
while he was at the game.
I saw him look at his phone. I said, I bet Howie just texted him.
That was definitely Howie. I was like, oh my God, what did I just do?
You're on TV the whole game, right front row.
Well, the problem is that game, I forget who hit a home run.
Yeah.
It was the only run they scored.
Yes.
So I jumped up and I started freaking out. And after that, they did nothing.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Yankees fan, and yeah, it was brutal.
Anthony's like, no matter where I go, I can't get rid of these guys.
Well, I haven't been to a Yankees game. I don't think I've been to a game yet. I haven't gone this season at all.
Yeah.
But I'm watching closely, and I hope our guys get healthy again. Half the team looks like they're injured, so.
Yeah.
The Knicks won the championship. That's all that matters.
You know what? I'm gonna take my wins. You're right.
But Anthony, my last question for you is: so a week after the tour was over, Music of America 250 years.
Oh
Yeah.
2 nights. I was there. Thank God, somebody got me a ticket and got in. Shout out to Mark and all the disciples for manning that stage.
Amazing
for all
job.
those different acts. My favorite moment was Trombone Shorty doing at the end there, night 1. Oh my God, like that was unbelievable.
That was great.
Went out to the crowd and everyone followed suit.
Yeah.
Well, what a special way to celebrate, first of all, American music, which is a huge variety. I remember they asked me one of the events, like, what's American music and like the influence of American music? That's a very loaded question because there's so many different styles. And it's evolved in so many ways. But that was a great representation, and the artists and they all did such an incredible job. There were so many that I don't want to like start naming and then forget, because there were so many. But there were huge highlights for me, for sure. Anytime Mavis Staples steps on stage, it's like, keep your eyes wide open and enjoy this, because this is special. But Trombone Shorty did an incredible job. He just took some
Mm.
killing solos. I loved watching Bon Jovi singing Johnny Be Good, and John is such an awesome dude. Like I've gotten chances to really like kind of talk to him off to the side, and man, he's awesome. Like I really love him. I went to see him perform at MSG 2 Sundays ago, and he was awesome. And the whole band was great, and it was just great to see that. And him soaking all the love from his audience, which he hasn't seen in a long time. We're artists, we're performers, and we need to do that. Like this is what we love to do. So to watch him do that in his element was just, you know, was amazing. But so many things happened during those couple days. Uh, Sheryl
I
Crow
just
was unbelievable. It's just so much happening.
Yeah.
You know,
Can I just ask you, as a musician, being part of that, like, how did you even have, like, because literally you played Philly, you were at the Serenade on Sunday, the shows were what, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah.
When did you have time? Did they send you the songs ahead of time? What was the process like for you guys to actually try to rehearse?
all right, I'm gonna be very honest. So, oh boy, we did the show Saturday in Philly. Showed up to the Pony to do the Spring Nut Serenade. That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had rehearsals for that event. We played Thursday, Friday. Then I had rehearsals Saturday, Sunday for Sirius XM for a live performance in studio with my album, my record.
Mm.
Then the 2 weeks after that, I turned off my phone. I wanted zero contact. I was so depleted.
Oh, that's why you didn't answer me.
I was so burnt out. I mean, while you're doing it, you have zero time to you're on it. Okay, what's next? I have to chart this song, but it was so much, and a lot of there's just a huge variety of music. E Street Band, funky muffles with funk, soul, and rock and roll. Then, you know, everything that was the Springsteen Archive Center, like, which was a wide variety of music, and then do a salsa performance in studio for Sirius XM after. It was just like, this is way too damn much. So
Mm.
I made sure I took a couple of weeks off after that and just
For
kind of
you.
decompress.
You
But
needed it.
it was all for nothing. Listen, I'm just grateful that I get to do amazing, play amazing music with amazing folks. So I can't complain.
So did you and Stevie and Mark pull Flavor Flav aside afterwards and be like, listen, this is the Disciples of Soul. It's not the E Street Band.
No. The funny thing, like Chuck D kept saying, the E Street Band,
Yeah.
the E Street, and I just turn around at Eddie Manny, and Eddie Manny's like, well,
Nobody's going to argue with him.
I don't even think Bruce knew what to say.
no, Bruce had no idea what to say. You could say he was like, it was so much fun. The awesome thing was seeing all the artists, all the musicians, like everyone just really like soaking it all in, like just everyone being in that same kind of pool. It was a blast. And watching each other perform. Yeah. Another name I wanted to mention, because I was just like, oh my goodness, Gary Clark Jr. is
Mm.
just one of the most tasteful musicians I've ever seen. But yeah, there was so much happening in those couple of days. I'm glad you caught that.
Oh yeah, it's easy to pick it apart, but 2 nights, whatever, 3 hours each night. I mean, it's easy to, okay, what about the Beach Boys? What about, Sam Cooke? What about Jackie Wilson?
Right.
But like, where do you stop? You'd have to play a month of those shows to like take it. Like you said, the breadth of American music covers everything.
It's so wide. It's so wide. Like, I love you mentioned Sam Cooke. That's my favorite singer. But yeah, it's such a wide breadth. I mean, the fact that they covered bluegrass, they covered jazz, they covered, that was a lot. It was really a lot of stuff. And I think they did a phenomenal job of really, they covered they mention Motown, and because there's just so much, and that doesn't even come. 80s pop, which was how many American artists influenced just music around the world. Of course, obviously Michael Jackson, which is like the most obvious one, but there's so many. Earth, Wind and Fire, and Stevie Wonder. Obviously, that leads into Motown. Like there's just so many different artists. It's we're very blessed, to have such a rich music history. We just have to make sure. That's why I support Teach Rock so much. That they have, you got to keep that, within the education system, and that's what better way to influence kids to go seek out whatever it is that they want to do. Just bring out the best out of kids. It's all in our music history.
A final
Check
from
out-
me, Anthony. You
Sorry.
talk about American Music Honors, which is every April at Monmouth University, and the Disciples of Soul, and you have been the backup band for Smokey Robinson, Dionne Warwick, Mavis Staples, Patti Smith, John Mellencamp, Jackson Brown, and they are planning it again for this coming April too, I understand. So what's that been, just playing behind all those great people?
It's been a lot of fun. I missed the Smokey Robinson one, which I kicked myself a little bit.
That's right. I do remember that.
I missed that one. But yeah, getting to play with Jackson Brown I love Jackson. Jackson Brown is one of the sweetest folks you could ever meet. And I love his voice. Like his voice is velvet. But it's a lot of fun because you really get to connect with these artists. You get to revisit their hits. And play them with a slightly different twist, with the Disciples of Soul arrangements. And, Bruce always has some kind of, if he's jumping up to sing a few of those songs, you have that touch and influence as well. So you get to play some of your favorite songs that you generally wouldn't get the chance to play, So that's a lot of fun. And it's also cool playing in a small venue, like very, very curated event. So that's a blast, and just watch people getting their flowers. That's special. Seeing we're so often do so many tribute performances to folks who have passed. That it's great to see events where you give people their flowers while they're still around to enjoy them.
Good point.
I think that's very special. So it's great to be a part of that.
Yeah. Have you been to the Springsteen Center yet? I know you.
I have not.
I volunteer there. So speaking of American music, the whole first floor is different American music genres. The second floor is Bruce. So come on by. I think you'll stay 3-4 hours. Eddie Vedder came by the other day.
He's another one who I love, which I'll mention. So Eddie Vedder's awesome. And he had mentioned to me, he was going to do the Barack and Michelle Obama Center concert, and he was going to do it with a band of youth musicians, like young Chicago musicians. And I finally got to see it probably like a week after the event. And how awesome is that? Like those kids are going to get to say they got to play with Eddie Vedder for the rest of their lives. Like that, those are things, like, listen, I get to play with Bruce, and I don't know how many shows I've done so far with Bruce. But I don't lose that, I don't lose track of that stuff. And the artists that I've played with when I was younger, and those kids are forever going to hold on to that. And God knows where they're going to go from here on, who else they get to play with. I think that's awesome. So Eddie's awesome.
He spent close to 3 hours touring the center and was friendly to everyone, signed autographs, took pictures. And I saw him at the door. He walked in. He goes, "Hi, I'm Ed." I'm like, "I know who you are. Thank you." And he was moved. He just took his time going through everything. So, but come on down.
I definitely have
please.
to. I got to come down. I've been wanting to, and I'm gonna steal one of those harmonicas from the second floor.
There you go. There you go.
So, Anthony, you got the show on Wonder Bar on August 9th. What else after that? What else is going on?
What else? I have no clue. Let's see. So I'm working on a few more shows. I can't announce anything just yet. I am performing in Miami this Friday at the Soho Beach House. And then Yes, Wonder Bar is going to be a ton of fun. So I urge everyone to come out and, like always, come over and say hello. I'm always ready and happy to say hello back and give a hug and a handshake. So um, come through, meet the band too. I always urge people to come over and say hello, not just to me, but to all the musicians in the band. They're all extremely loving and incredible musicians and do a bunch of different projects in their own right. So um, don't just follow me, but follow the other musicians that'll be there that evening.
Just like the
Um,
Disciples, you're gonna have 15 people on stage. What are we talking about here?
no, not this time. This time, and Disciples would probably fit all 15 at the Wonder Bar. Listen, if we played at the Cavern Club, we could play anywhere. But this show, I think I want to say 8 musicians. Um, but I mean, they're phenomenal. Like they're literally gonna melt your skin off your face, you know. So it's just gonna be a lot of fun. So Wonder Bar, August 9th. And then I'll be posting some more stuff on my social media, on my Instagram, Anthony Almonte, add me. I'm more than happy to add everyone back as friends. And on my Instagram, Vamo Almonte.
Well, we're gonna, again, just to repeat, anyone that, everyone that's watching, please come out and join all of us and support Anthony and his band and his new album. We're gonna have a great time. We want to do this for Anthony, and we want to, we want you guys to enjoy it. Please come to the Wonder Bar, August 9th. That's Saturday night, right? Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Sunday. That's a Sunday night. So even for the Jewish people, you can come as well. Okay, so everyone, Sunday night we're coming, and just let's do this for him.
Thank you.
Jules, do you have anything you wanted to add?
I have one quick thing I want to add.
Okay.
Today is July 28th. A huge happy birthday to Ozzy Melendez, Annie, his girlfriend, and Rich Mercurio, drummer for Disciples.
Nice.
I love all three of them tremendously, and I wanted to make sure I put that out there.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ozzy.
Yes. Ozzy. And that show, Wonder Bar, it's a week from Sunday. It's coming up. It's not that far away.
It's right around the corner.
A week from this Sunday. Yep. Just around the corner. Yep.
So you can get tickets at the Stone Pony box office.
Yeah. And if you do get them there, if you're local, you save on all the Ticketmaster charges. So I think they only charge $1 or $2 extra. So
there you go. So come
that's
over.
Where I'm going tomorrow. I'm going Thursday. I'll buy my ticket there. But yeah.
And if you get it at the door the day of, it's $35.
35. I saw that.
$5 difference.
Yeah. But hopefully it will be sold out, Anthony. No tickets at the door. That's what we want.
Let's have some fun. I look forward to seeing everybody there and all of you guys, of course.
Anthony, somebody asked earlier, I meant to ask, I know Ozzy played on some tunes on the new album. Did Curtis do anything on any of the tracks?
No, Curtis wasn't on my record. So of the E Street family, Ozzy, Stevie, of course, and Charlie G. And then, fun fact, Danny Clinch took the album cover photo.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. And the photo was taken in Asbury Park. Ooh. If you guys can figure out where exactly.
Oh, I'll have to look. All right. Challenge. All right.
Send me a message. Anyone who can figure it out, they can send me a message.
All right.
I'll let them know if they got it or not.
All right, guys. So, Ryan, got anything?
No, I just wanted to, Anthony, we interviewed Danny a couple months ago here on the cafe, and just a down-to-earth guy. And I'll never forget something he said. This is a world-renowned rock photographer, pop music photographer. He's worked with everybody from Tupac to, you name it, he's done it. And in the end, he said, I'm just a guy from Tom's River. And I was like, wow. He just never, that's who he is. Like, he just thinks of himself as a guy from Tom's River. Because we were talking about his dad riding in the car with Bruce, and Danny got a picture of the two of them together. But it was very clear that, like, that's who, yes, he's got his profession. He loves doing what he does. He gets to tour the world and see all these great bands. But at the end of the day, he's got his wife and his kids and his career, and he's just a guy from Tom's River.
It's
Just a
like
very down to earth, humble guy.
I say this often. This is what I do. Do I love to do it? In all caps, yes. But it's not who I am. It's a part of me. There's a whole other part of me. I'm a kid from the Bronx, born to Puerto Rican and Dominican parents, and went to school in Cardinal Spellman, and there's so much to me that's music is a huge part of my life, but it's not the sole aspect of my life. So yeah, I totally feel that sentiment.
All right, Anthony. Thank you.
All right, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony.
Are the best. Thank you
See
so
a week
much.
from Sunday.
Let's have some fun. I'm looking forward to
Yes.
seeing you guys. Really.
All right. Thanks so much,
I'm
Anthony.
brushing up on my Spanish this whole week, by the way.
Don't embarrass
We'll do
yourself,
some-
Howie. Do
We'll do
not.
some English
Right.
songs. Don't worry. We have quite a few English songs. So
Oh,
we'll
okay.
have some
Okay, good. We're
fun.
looking forward to it.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you,
so
Anthony,
much.
for
I
doing this.
appreciate
We
it.
All
love
right,
you.
I love
Anthony.
you
Thank
guys.
you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Anthony.
Take care, guys.
care. Take care.
Hmm.
You can, yeah, okay. You
Oh.
want,
I
Very
was
good.
looking up the album cover because I did not know that.
Yeah.
I will have to look that up.
But I just looked it up. It's sort of a generic shot of him on the beach.
That's what I was
That's
thinking.
the album cover. So there's really no background there except you see the moon from the beach on the background. So the Asbury Park Boardwalk. I was just looking it up.
Let me share my screen here. Share.
Right. Do you see what I see? It's a picture of him. Let's see.
Yep. Share. There it is.
Album. Yeah, it's a picture of his head with the beach behind, or the water below his head.
Yeah.
And a full moon.
So it's got me. I guess it's got to be on the beach there, right? He said it was
Yeah.
taken in Asbury.
clinch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wonder if there's like another shot out there or something, maybe.
I
But
don't know.
hey, if anybody knows where that is, specifically to Asbury, hats off to you. Hats off. You win a special gold star.
Cool.
No, that was awesome. Anthony's an awesome guy, very down to earth, very humble. He's always a great interview.
The first question when you say to someone, "Oh, I saw Anthony Almonte," if Bruce is on tour and you're in the city, "Oh, I saw Anthony walking down the street." The first question you usually get, was he nice?
I feel like he
Anthony is always nice.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
He's always happy to take a picture. He's always happy he's just, like he said, he's happy to see the fans. He's such a great guy. That's
Yep.
usually, whenever I've seen him out and about, can you get a picture? Can you take a picture of my friends? Absolutely. He's always smiling. So he's the real deal.
Yep.
You can only put on an act for so long. You can't do what he does all the time,
Mhm.
every day, and that's who he is as a person.
Yep. That's
All
it.
right, Howie,
All right.
we've been
Yep.
pretty quiet. Anything?
I was
you said
quiet.
There's gonna be.
Howie's
no,
got
I'm
an
just saying.
announcement tomorrow, I see. He's
I
12 o'clock.
do.
Yeah.
We do. It's another, what we said in, last month, we have a bunch of collaborations and, not serenade stuff, but it's events that we're gonna partner up with, and one of them was, signed, sealed, and delivered today. So, tomorrow we'll make that announcement. It's gonna be obviously it'll be in Asbury. But it's gonna be it's fun. It's a fun thing and exciting. I want to give it away till tomorrow, but it's gonna be fun. It's
Good.
something that we can all get together and enjoy and support and have a good time. It's definitely Springsteen musically related. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Very
Will
cool.
this be a multi-part thing? Like there's be an announcement, and then there'll be the announcement of the date, but then there'll be something else.
No.
leading up to that?
Everything will be announced tomorrow.
Okay, got it.
Everything will be announced tomorrow.
Got
So it's we're excited. We're excited that let's put it this way. We're excited that people want to do these things with the group in tow, and so it's going to be a fun and special time.
Good.
Hey Stan, somebody asked earlier, is there a set day of the week or days of the week that you're at the museum?
No, I usually we switch around. We have a schedule. There's a bunch of us, so we usually fill in when it's needed. I do a lot of weekends because even though I live very close to the beach, I'm not a big beach person. So where everybody wants to not do a weekend, I'll do the weekends. And I think I'm there again Thursday in the afternoon. In the morning, and then I'm only there this Sunday, but it varies. It's fun though. Well, we're volunteers. We don't get paid, but it's very interesting. Very cool. You never know who walks in the door.
Yeah, dude, I want to volunteer after the meeting Eddie Vedder. I mean, Jesus.
Hi, I'm Ed.
He
That cracks
was-
me
I'll
up.
do that
I'm
for
Ed.
free any day of the week.
It was so nice. I mean, this major star, and it just he bought a ton of merchandise too. He bought all these shirts and everything, and then he walked out, and I was witness this. He gave Eileen Chapman a hug, and then he said, "Oh, I got to get a picture with you," and he took a picture of him and Eileen with his phone. I mean, he saw the movie. He had tears in his eyes when he came out,
Wow.
and
It's powerful. It's a powerful documentary.
yeah, and he he uh he took his time. He went through everything. It didn't rush him like Ryan. You kept the people bother him. No, a few people went up and asked him for pictures and stuff. But once they got their, a picture, boom, you take it and you're done. No one really tried to engage him or anything. So, but he was very friendly. And usually if I'm volunteering, I didn't want to ask, but he started signing some autographs. So I grabbed one. I got one too. So I said, why not?
What I will say, Stan, if you, and I'm, maybe you already thought about this, but something that I was saying to myself when I saw that Eddie was there, and then I'm seeing some things that you're posting from time to time where people, it just shows you the power of what the center will become, because yes, the fans were going to go there, whatever, but even people like someone like when you look at Eddie Vedder, he's not like he came in with Bruce and they were doing a thing, not outing day. He wanted to see the center. He wanted not just the Bruce stuff. He wanted to see the American music part, and it just shows you that people. It could be something, and it's something that's great for Jersey, for moment, and I'm really happy about that. Is that you could see the draw, and that I'm hoping that continues. Like on any day of the week, all of a sudden someone's walking in, someone in the likes of Eddie Vedder or anybody like that, and they want to see it. That's
And he didn't ask for the place to close down, so we got a private
right,
or anything like
exactly,
that.
yeah, even that.
He
Like
came in right in.
as a fan.
Yeah. And people noticed him. And then I even tipped off a couple. There were some younger fans there, like in their 20s. And I was like, go upstairs. Eddie Vedder's up there. But I'm like, holy shit, really? So,
Yeah, don't say that, because Julie's not a fan of yours right now. Because
I know. Well, Julie, it would have taken you an hour. Well, if I told you right away, he came in this was the night they're open. They're only open till 8 p.m. Thursdays. And that's when they have live music outside. And he came in about 4:30 and he left about close to 7. So he
wow.
was there a long time.
It only takes us about close to 2 hours. We would have made part of that.
When he was walking out, they have that long boardwalk.
Yeah.
Williams Honor was playing. They have live music Thursday nights. And they were playing, and hardly anyone noticed as he was walking down this boardwalk to get to the car he was in. And it's like all these people are watching Williams Honor play, which is great. And Eddie's looking at them, and I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if he just jumped on stage with them, right?
Right, wow.
But hardly anyone noticed him coming down the boardwalk. But no, it was quite, it just, I said this earlier. The first thing people ask, was he nice? Yeah. And I said that about Anthony, and you mentioned this too before, Howie. Anthony is always nice. Eddie Vedder was so nice to everybody. It just,
I don't think it's a question where they feel like, Anthony's Anthony, but I'm saying like with Eddie, it wasn't a question of him being nice. It's like he's quiet, and so you feel like you don't know, you feel funny trying to, almost Bruce-like in a way, because he's to themselves, you don't know if you want to bother, but listen, it's Eddie Vedder, he's a legend, right? You know what I mean? So but so when you're getting, if you're telling me, and obviously I believe you, I'm saying the guy spent 3 hours there. Okay, that he didn't walk in, say hi to Eileen Chapman and Bob Santelli and do a quick thing and go. He took his time, 3 hours, and then anybody who stopped him during the time that he's trying to look, and he's being that, gracious and whatever, it says a lot, what I
Yeah.
mean? And then I love that because, like, I don't have to tell you, Stan, even you, Ryan, there's always things that you always feel like, they say don't meet your heroes, right? And because you don't want to have that
Right.
experience where they crush, even though they probably, just don't want to be bothered at that moment, you don't want to have that experience. How many people love Eddie Vedder and Bruce and people like that, and you don't want to, it's something, go ahead.
If you're familiar with Danny Clinch, has that big photo book with Eddie's on the cover of it,
Yeah.
Yep.
and they sell them at the Springsteen Center.
Mhm.
So I think it was Zach Sandler or somebody, Zach was there, brought over 4 copies of it, and they had Eddie sign them. And Danny's already signed them, so they're having Eddie sign them. And it's like, I'm like, what are they going to do with them? And somebody said, I think they might put them back on the shelf to sell. I go, no, put them away. Get Bruce to sign them, and because they have auctions occasionally,
Right.
raise
Right.
money. I was like, you got a few $1,000 auction item there, signed by Eddie, Bruce, and Danny Clinch. It's like, no, but yeah, Danny signed 4. Eddie signed 4 from right away. Really nice. And that was
Stan,
it. And then he
how
bought
was-
a ton of shirts. They sell jewelry there. He bought jewelry, and yeah, it was just surreal. It's just surreal. It's like, damn,
Yeah,
Eddie
it's
Vedder's
great.
here.
Right. No, it's big.
So
That's
Stan,
huge.
how have the crowds been that you've on days you
Pretty-
volunteered?
Pretty good. It gets busy.
Busy, not busy?
Yeah, it's never been mobbed. You can still, if you don't have a ticket in advance, you can still come up and get a ticket the day of. I think they wanted time entry. They were worried about being overrun, but it's been very good. It's been steady. Usually get a good crowd in the morning, and then by the afternoon they close at 5. So by 3 o'clock it really goes down, because if you come at 3, the movie's 25 minutes. So it really limits your time. So the ideal time would be in the morning or even 1 o'clock or so. But the crowds have been good, never where it's too crazy. People love the movie. I've seen the movie 8 times now. First time I saw it was with you, Howie. Thank you. But I've seen it. I'm still seeing things I haven't seen before. So we get to introduce the movie every once in a while.
Well, I'm just happy. You know what? Selfishly, I could. The trivia question will always be who was the first ones to see that movie, and it'll be Springnet.
Yeah. Welcome to New Jersey.
Yeah.
And we know we open the doors and close the doors. We wait till Sweet Soul Music ends, and then Bruce goes, "That's right, that's right." And the second "that's right" is the end. So we've learned that's when you open the doors back up.
Oh, I wish they would release, if someone has the footage of those Tunnel of Love shows.
Well, they have upstairs in the little theater where they have the pictures of the fans.
Yeah.
They got some incredible footage of there. They got a Lost in the Flood from 72.
Wow.
Jungle Land from 74. They have Born in the USA from East Berlin on the Tunnel of Love tour. They have Hungry Heart from Slane Castle in Ireland in 85. I've never seen those videos before. So Bruce has released some stuff to them to put in there. And they're even the Born to Run from the Springsteen Symposium. I know you weren't there because it was a Saturday, but
right.
Ryan was there, where they had Boone Carter and Max on drums, David Sanchez on keyboards. That's in there too. You could sit in there for over an hour and just see some incredible footage.
Yeah, because when we went, everything wasn't available yet, and
So-
I definitely we're planning to actually. There's a good chance maybe I even come this week, not this weekend, the following weekend. I mean,
Yeah, hey, the Sunday then Anthony's playing Asbury, August 9th. You could do that.
Stan, can I ask you a question?
Anthony is playing August 9th at the
right,
Wonder
yeah,
Bar.
yeah,
You come that afternoon.
Question for you. I may have asked you this before. It was like really up and going, but Planer was going to go there, and when he was online checking his options, there was an option to have like a timed window. Is there like an archive part where you can go in there and
What
actually
there
touch
is
stuff?
upstairs, it's called the archives. There's about 15 computer screens that you sit down on, and it gives you about 15 different options to click on things. There's some audio, there's some video. It's not an unlimited. It's like my sister came in and go, "Oh, I want to see footage from 1975." It's not really that. They give you 15 different choices, and you sit in there. And in the room is a whole bunch of stuff too that you can look at. That's pretty cool. But the thing is that doesn't cost any extra money. So even it's been fairly It's been busy, but I tell people you could even check with the door at the archives. They may have some extra seats to sit in. So even if you don't book it, and if you book it, yeah, it doesn't cost you anything more. But that's what they
Gotcha.
call the archives, plus the archives. No.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and then there's a room, Howie, I don't know if this was done on the second floor of Bruce's writing room. It's like a Disney thing. They
No,
post-
the interactive
oh,
stuff was not.
oh man, yeah, the interactive. Put it this way, I've been there probably 15 times now since it opened, but as a volunteer, so I really stopped looking around. But I still think when I do get a chance to walk around, I see things I haven't seen yet. It's like, wow, I didn't even know this was here. Oh my God, look at that.
I'm
And
just
someone-
so thrilled that it's
Yeah,
there now.
someone said to me yesterday, "Where's Whitney Houston's dress?" I said, "Wait, Whitney Houston has a dress here." Then someone showed me later, "Yeah, right here, Whitney Houston's." Like,
Wow.
whoa! It's like the first floor, Louis Armstrong's trumpet. There's an Elvis Presley sport jacket. There you go, Ryan. Frank Sinatra's tuxedo. There's a Sabrina Carpenter outfit, a Lady Gaga outfit. There's just some incredible stuff. And then this Chimes of Freedom exhibit is phenomenal. That's I think going on until the end of the summer. But if anyone's well, we still got 39 people. All right, if anyone's in the area, come on down. Even if you don't have advance tickets, you can pay for them right there at the door.
Hey, so I just finished Jesse Mallin's book, and I just had to share this with you guys. He's talking about Bruce playing on Broken Radio, and he sets it all up with the fact he'd written it, and then his producer says, he'd had an interaction with Bruce at the Pony and blah blah blah. Hey, I want to play on something of yours at some point in time. Anyway, producer says, I think you should get Bruce to play on Broken Radio, and Jesse's like, whoa, wait a minute here, like this is about me and my mom and the music, and like that's a whole different thing. He's like, no, I think you should do it. Anyway, Jesse and his producer go to the farm, and Jesse's producer is basically running the board and everything. And Jesse talked about this, that his producer was one of these guys where it was like, Jesse'd be screaming his head off, giving it everything he's got, and the guy would be like, one more take, more energy, more energy, more energy. And Jesse's like, dude, I just left it all on the floor. I got nothing else left. One more take. They go and do this, and Bruce was like obliging enough to have him come into the studio and do it. And Jesse thought the first take was like beautiful. Producer, Bruce, could you do it one more time, but do it with more feeling? And Jesse's just like wanting to crawl down in the floor and like out of embarrassment, but that's who the guy is, And he did that to him like 8 times, and each time he thought Bruce was just going to lose it. And Bruce was like very consummate professional, never said a word. Yeah, that's what you want me to do. I'll do it. That's so funny. Bruce, could you do it one more time with a little bit more energy? A little bit more energy. One more time.
That's Bruce. I don't think he's been back to the center since the ribbon cutting. Steve Van Zandt was there a couple weeks ago. I wasn't there that day, but
Who was there?
Stevie Van Zandt.
Oh yeah.
Stevie was there, and
Dan,
I
are you
wasn't
aware
there
of-
that day.
Sorry, are you aware of them shutting it down for a VIP that
No.
you know of?
I think if Bruce, I mean, they'd stay in the hour. I think if Bruce ever said, I want to bring my family there or something, they would try to make some arrangements to maybe block off an area or something. But he was there the day of the ribbon cutting, which was a week before, which was June 6th. And Howie, I don't know if your event with the Spring Nuts was before that or right after that, the ribbon cutting. What day?
It was.
you have,
Ours was May 30th.
Oh, yours May. Okay, so it was even before that. The ribbon cutting was June 6th, and then they didn't officially open to June 13th. And but no, like I said, I had heard Eddie was coming, Eddie Vedder, so they wouldn't close off. I just think if Bruce wanted to come, they'd probably do it after 5 o'clock or something like that. Knowing Bruce, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls up someday with a friend or something and said, we're going to look and just be like Eddie Vedder and go through. And they'd probably have, they don't have security people, but they have what they call docents. They'd probably have a docent or two stand by just to sort of run a little interference and stuff. But I was there the day of the ribbon cutting, and Bon Jovi was walking through with his wife, and my friend liked Bon Jovi. I said, "Go ahead, he's right there, asking for a picture." And she did, and he took it. He was so great. He said, "Sure," smiled. And Bax Weinberg was walking through that day. David Sanchez, Gary Talent. So that was the day of the ribbon cut. That was a private affair that I won an auction to get into. So, but But yeah, Ryan, you haven't been through, have you? Except for when Howie had it, or have you been
Just
there?
that little sneak peek that day at
Yeah.
the cafe. So yeah, I need to come back at some point in time and spend a day. I'm probably going to come in and spend like 4 hours on the first floor, 4 hours on the upper
Yeah.
floor. It's overwhelming. It's like going to the Hall of Fame. There's just
Yeah.
like so much there. You just
You
get
more than
overwhelmed.
you, I don't want to say more than anyone, but you will definitely appreciate the first floor. I mean, like I said, I go through and I'm like, oh, holy, I didn't know that was there. Wow. You know, it's like, wow. And then you look like Frank Sinatra's tuxedo, courtesy of Nancy Sinatra. I mean, you know, these are make up things. They got these contacts and stuff.
Wow. Somebody mentioned it's Patty's birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to
Yeah.
Patty.
Happy birthday, Patty. Born in she's what, 4 years younger than Bruce. I think she was born in 1953.
Hmm.
So that would make her 73, I guess.
Well, if not that Ron wasn't telling us the truth, but like it sounds like she's got one album ready to go and a second
Yeah.
album in process. So we'll
So
see.
I'll tell you a quick Ronnie Ellis story. He came into the Springsteen Center about 3-4 weeks ago on a Sunday.
After our cafe,
Yeah, after our cafe. Had his mother with him, had his, I think, a girlfriend, I think it was his daughter, I'm not sure, but they were in and he wanted to see the movie. He said, I've scored the movie, but I've never actually seen it. And his mother was interested in seeing it. So
Wow.
the movie starts at 15 minutes after every hour. So I think this was 12:15. The movie, it's automatic. It goes like 12:15 and 20 seconds. It automatically comes on. 12:15 and 10 seconds, we're getting ready for it to start. A fire alarm goes off.
Oh my God.
So we had to evacuate the building. So I don't think he stayed around to see the movie. So he still has to come back. It's like out of all times when Bruce's producer is here, the fire alarm goes off. It was a false alarm, but it's kind of neat. But
Did you see the big piece that he did that's somewhere
Yeah.
in there?
Yeah,
Is it on
that's
the first
actually in
floor,
the
second
archives
floor?
room where you sit in the archives. It's
Oh,
gigantic.
okay.
Really interesting. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. No. All right.
All right. Well,
Anything else, Ryan? Yeah,
anything else,
sorry I
Howie?
didn't get in contact with you. I knew Howie just said you weren't feeling well, but I didn't really realize the extent. But
I've been taking it easy. I'm a week out. I'm getting there. Just slow.
All
And the old me would have been up mowing the grass and whatever else nonsense. I'm not doing any of that. I'm taking it easy. So
you still had your show on it. I told you it's like clockwork with me. 8 a.m. New Jersey time. Boom. Ryan Hilligoss is live. So, and then, like I said, I always enjoy it, but then I get in it and I'm like, oh shit, it's 9:15 already. God damn, I got all this stuff to do.
So Stan, I have to tell you this since you're a huge Yankees fan. So I don't think we've talked for a while, but I took my son to Boston for some school visits. We went to Fenway. Never been to Fenway before. It was an excellent park. I'm glad I went. But they were playing the Yankees of all the teams. It was just so funny to me because I have no vested interest in either team, but it was like the whole Yankees suck, that whole thing. It was like this huge rivalry. It was just like he and I are just like bystanders, but it was just so funny to hear
That's great.
get a hold of that whole thing.
They swept the Yankees too, that series. Yeah. They
Yep.
were down, but
That was the start of their huge comeback
Yeah.
they've been on.
yeah. All right.
All right, Howie.
Anything
Anything
from
else?
you? Or
Me?
yeah, you.
No.
You're looking down.
No, I'm answering all these people that I didn't have.
Give me a hint, Howie. What's going on tomorrow? I can't be around at noon. Can you tell me? I'm dying, Howie. I'm dying to know.
Everyone will be fine. That they always are.
I'll say this. I can't speak for Ryan, but I didn't ask Howie. I'll wait till 12 o'clock tomorrow. I don't know if Ryan said Howie tell me what happened. So we'll find out at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Eastern.
It's not necessarily a huge thing, but it's a very, and everything's going to be like that. But a lot of times we get asked to collaborate with things that are going to happen in Jersey, and it's exciting. It's definitely fun to be a part of, and it's definitely something that you guys are going to want to be a part of and have fun with. But it's this way. We're always trying to do things to help and bring people together and have a good time and have some great rock and roll, and that's what we're doing. So it'll be worth it.
I like the poster you put up. That was good. I guess it was AI, but that
yeah. I mean, when I need to do something real quick,
Yeah.
I don't know, and I also do work, but I figured, okay, and I like it. I know people don't like AI, and I get that to a point because I don't like a lot of the stuff either when it goes over the top. But sometimes you need something right away. You just do it.
Stan, real quick, how many people can fit in the Wonder Bar? 300,
About
500?
300. No, about 300.
Yeah, not 300.
They
yeah.
lost their out. They used to have where they get more because you could be outside where they did the dog thing. But Yappy Hour. But they're building, if you haven't been in Asbury Park lately, they're building condos or townhouses, and they took all that outdoor area away. So, yeah, but they can get about 300, 350 maybe. It's like the little sister to the Stone Pony. But
Gotcha.
but it should be fun Sunday night, and it should be able to park on a Sunday night down there. Sometimes that's an issue, but shouldn't be too
Well,
bad.
hopefully Anthony sells out his show that night. So,
Yeah.
all right, everybody,
All
have
right.
a good night. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for watching.
What are we
everybody at
back
home.
Thursday, right, Howie? We're back.
Yeah,
Thursday?
yeah, we're back Thursday with Frank Stefanko. Very excited to do that, and thankfully everything we're gonna double up this week because we're thankful we have Ryan back, and he's powering through like the warrior he is, even with one gallbladder.
No gallbladder. I got no gall. You got a lot of gall. No, I don't.
He's got the
It's gone.
bladder.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
He only has the bladder now.
I have no gall.
No goal, but he got the bladder. So, but I'm looking forward to having Frank and thanking him for his patience and understanding. And he's got some great stories, I am sure, to tell you.
Oh, Frank can. I don't mean this as criticism. Frank can talk. I've heard him talk, but he doesn't.
Well,
It's
good.
great.
When we doesn't have
That's
when our
good.
guests
We won't have to say too much, but his
Good,
stories are interesting. I've heard he's got some great ones. Yep.
when the guests don't have anything to talk about, we're in trouble. So
Yes.
we have a crappy show. So
Yes. Yeah. No. All right.
right.
Good night,
All right,
guys.
guys.
I'm
Have
gonna
a
go
good
catch
night.
the end of the Yankees game. All right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
See
Go
you.
Knicks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adios. Adios. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching at home. Thank you for joining us. Sorry if we didn't get to all of your questions. We tried to ask what we could. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Anthony. Always a pleasure. True gentleman. He's a true gentleman in every way, shape, and form. Very humble, down to earth, very kind, very decent person. And he's a fantastic musician. And for the ladies, he's a pretty handsome guy. Yeah, a little bit. All right. Adios, muchachos. See some of you on Thursday. Marianne, I feel well enough to sit here and do this, so I'm here. I'm back, baby. I'm back. Have a good night.